Hello, folks. So this is part 2 of Chapter 4 Visual Representations lesson. And this part is going to show you how to do some of the visual representations in Excel. So the three that we're going to focus on are histograms, pie charts, and bar or column charts. And so the first one that we'll do is histogram. Remember, if you don't already have this out, make sure that you have the chapter 4 lesson handout with you. The last few pages, pages 6 to 8, give you these step-by-step instructions on how to do charts in Excel. So make sure that you have that handy. And so the first one is histograms, and histograms work with just the regular data that we already have. So here I have opened our class survey data set for practice. And remember, a histogram works for any interval level variable, right? So that the histogram is the basis of us creating the frequency polygons. And so we can pick any interval level variable we want. For this one, let's do maybe number of siblings. So this is in column H. So first, highlight the column that you want to use here by clicking whatever letter is at the top of the column here. So if we click the H, that highlights the number of siblings column for us. And then to find all of the charts, we go to first insert on the top left. And then we see in the middle, there's this charts tab. If you have an older version of Excel, some of these steps might be a little different, but the key part should still be the same, that you're going to insert and then charts. If you're having trouble with finding any of these options because you have a different version of Excel, send me an email, let me know, and we'll figure it out together. Okay, so once we're in the charts tab, the option here for a histogram is this one in the middle, and if you hold your arrow over it, it should say insert statistic chart. So statistic chart is a type of histogram. Then if you click on it, you see a couple of options for histograms. We're going to do this first one here. So click on this first one on the left, and it automatically puts a new chart right into the Excel document. If this is like you are a neat freak and organization person, you can open a new tab. So down here in the bottom left, or a new sheet, click this little arrow sign, and that opens a fresh sheet. You can copy and paste the entire chart right into a new sheet if that works better for you. Otherwise, just do it wherever it plops it, and then you can copy and paste it right into your homework or your project or whatever. And you'll see here that this creates bins in a couple of different ways. So what we call class intervals when we're doing our work, Excel calls these bins, and you'll see if you double click anywhere on the chart, if you double left click anywhere on the chart, it will open up this toolbar on the side for different chart areas. And you'll see that, which one is this under here? That it has an automatic setting for the number of bins. What am I looking in here? So that here it does, like how it sorted the bins is 0 to 3.3, 3.3 to 6.6, 6.6 to 9.9, etc. So it kind of just breaks them out in ways that it sees as most appropriate. But there's lots of different ways you can change up these bins. And I'm not seeing it right now. This is, outside of, here we go. So when you click on, yes, so when you click on axis options at the top here, it gives you under bins here on the right that it's selected as automatic. If you want to change the bin width, this is the size of the class intervals, to like 2 instead of 3.3, it'll automatically rearrange it for you. So it's 0 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, right? So that you have some flexibility in playing around with that. The only thing I'll be looking for in grading these is that you've changed the chart title, right? So here you should be entering a chart title that makes sense. If you double left click on where it says chart title, it allows you to change this. So you want to include a title that includes the name of the variable and ideally where the data come from, right? So I would call this one SOCH 301 Fall 2020 number of siblings, or something like that, right? So you're giving an indication of where the data are coming from, and then most importantly, the name of the variable here, which is number of siblings. Okay, so that's how to do a histogram. Big picture recap is you go to you highlight the data that you want to be using, whichever column that is, go to insert. Under charts, it's this middle one, and click the histogram function. Remember to change the title. Okay, then moving on to pie charts and bar and column charts. So bar and column charts, I don't want to change our data. Bar and column charts require data to be set up a little differently than things like our class survey set or data set or any of the other data sets we've looked at so far. So it needs there to already be the percentages totaled for each of the categories. So for example, in our class survey, each row is just one person. Those are considered really raw data, right? We haven't done anything to them to organize or shape them. It's just every row is a different person. But to do pie charts and bar charts in Excel, you need to have data that have already kind of been organized. So I've gone ahead and done some of this for you. If you're interested in doing this and you think like, oh, I'm gonna, in a job or career or an internship I have, want to know how to take the raw data where each person is a different line into doing a bar or a pie chart, reach out to me and I can kind of help you get through how to get to this point. But for our purposes, in the ease of doing this online, especially, I'm giving you data that are already kind of organized to work for pie charts and bar charts. So the ones that I've given you for pie charts come from Gallup poll data. So the Gallup poll is a nationally representative survey of people living in the United States, and they ask a bunch of different public opinion questions. So the first one I have here that we'll practice with for a pie chart is, please tell me how much confidence you yourself have in the criminal justice system. Is it a great deal, quite a lot, some, very little, or none? And so I have set up here that there's the responses and the percent of Americans that answered with that response, right? So 10% of Americans said they had, as of the 2020 survey, a great deal of confidence in the criminal justice system. 3% of people said they have none. So to create a pie chart, the first step is to highlight the data that you want to be used, to select the data that you want to be used. And so here we're starting in this cell A8, and to highlight data, I think the easiest way to do it is either to select this little green box that's at the top cell that you want to use, and you can kind of drag it to cover up, oops, no, that's not right. No, we don't want to replace. Let me go back. Can kind of drag it down to highlight all of it. Or the other option, and this is the one that's described in your step-by-step instructions, is to make sure this cursor is selected on the top box, hold down the shift button, simultaneously press while you're holding down the shift, the over key to go down to B, and then the down key until everything is selected. So make sure that you select the data that you want to be using for the pie chart. Once you've done that, same steps as for histogram, go to insert, charts, and then we're looking for the one that looks like this. When you click on that, you see that you have a bunch of different options. If you want to play around with doing any of these other ones, I think for our purposes, this first one in the 2D pie or the 3D pie would be best, but select that one and you see it automatically creates it for you. What's fun about this one is that if you click the this little paintbrush, this is chart styles. I think for example, something like this, it's helpful to be able to have the percentages on the chart. So there's one that does that for you. Again, double left click on it and you get all of these other options about how to, like, if you want each little sliver of pie filled in, if you want them in different colors, what you want to do with the border. So if this is fun for you to create visually appealing charts, feel free to spend some time and play around with it. This is kind of a helpful skill to be able to know. Main thing I'll be looking for in grading them, did you add a chart title? So same deals with histograms, double click into left click into the chart title to be able to add a title that describes where the data are coming from and the name of the variable. So here, this is Gallup poll, oops, not 2002, Gallup poll 2020. And you could call this something like confidence in CJ system, right? But so a title that has where the data came from and the name of the variable. So that's how to do pie charts. Then remember, pie charts work well when we're looking at the proportion of something, right? So here we have different percentages or proportions for confidence in police, or confidence in criminal justice system, police. There's a bunch of ones on here that you can do for projects and classwork and homeworks about victimization rates. So while pie chart is good for proportions, remember that bar or column charts are used to be comparing frequencies among different categories. So this is another one here that the data need to be organized kind of ahead of time for you, not in this raw form. So the example that I've chosen to use for this is information from the Death Penalty Information Center. So I have some things like the number of executions by state for recent years, executions by prisoner race, types of executions, so that you can use all of these ones will work well for a bar or column chart, because a bar or column chart is about comparing frequencies or counts, which is what we have here. So same deals for a pie chart. Select first the data that you want to use. So start in this top corner that you want to start with, hold down the shift key, move over into column B, and then while holding the shift key, go down as well to highlight the data that you want to use. Then go to insert. And the one that's for bar column charts is here in this top left. This one gives you lots of different options, right? So remember, column charts are the ones that go up and down with the bars. Bar charts are the ones that go horizontal with the bars. For this, it doesn't matter. This is a stylistic thing. Choose whatever looks fun to you. And then by just clicking it, you see that it gives you a bunch of different styles. So you have lots of, again, fun options that you can play around with here, where you can mix up the colors into like a different color scheme, or there's all different types of styles up here in the toolbar. You can look at more along using the little paintbrush as well, whether you want the count number in there, or if you want it along the y-axis here. Totally up to you. Again, the only thing I'm really looking for is that you've given it an appropriate title, right? So that this is 2019 executions by state. Right, so that we're telling where the data came from 2019, and the name of the variable here would be something like executions by state. This illustrates that it's only a small number of states, relatively small number of states that executed people as of 2019, and is helpful for visually displaying, of course, that there's one state in particular that executes year after year more people than other states. Okay, so I think that's it on visual representations. You should now be moving on to the classwork, where you should know now how to do not just visual representations by hand, but also be able to work on the problems that you're doing visual representations in Excel. As always, send me questions as they come up, either by email or on the Ask the Instructor page. Let me know if you want to have a live class any day this week, and then you'll have your homework due Friday at midnight as always. All right, have a great week, folks. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.